Hey everyone, welcome back to Crypto Cash. Thank you so much for joining me here. I hope you're having a great day. One more look here at Celestia. This is a request from one of my community members here. Let's see, who was it? Costas? Yeah, Costas, that's right. Glad the last one worked out pretty well. In fact, that does remind me we had this nice solid entry zone here at this 0.382 fib level with a more recent high. Price bounced almost perfectly off that range of 518 to 530. So congrats. I think some folks were in a good 20-30% up on a spot trade. That's pretty crazy. So what we want to do is talk a little bit about this here. We can see that we are up here on our fifth and final wave likely, which does imply we could see one more lower low here, okay? So just friendly advice, be careful taking along with this coin. It may have, run its course for the moment. Just kind of throwing it out there. This is never a guarantee. I know there's some folks out there that put everything they have into Elliott wave theory, which I think it should be used as kind of a tertiary or secondary form of analysis. But at this point here, that is still kind of letting us know we have potential. Once more, always diversify when you can, and never just put all your eggs into one basket. That goes for trades and also analysis too. I just find it very unfortunate some folks are super stuck on Elliott wave and they forget to see the other stuff too. And that's what we like to look at. Again, what I do is not foolproof. I mean, I'm only like maybe a 70-80% trader on average with my swing trades. But again, the consistency is there. While we don't take a ton of trades, they're higher success rate, and I prefer to focus on that. And I'll miss a lot of opportunities. I mean, I slept on SEI this morning too, and it's up like 15% on the day. Like, FOMO is a very real thing. It happens to everybody, even myself. So try not to feel too alone in that world here. What we want to look at, first of all, just to clarify, liquidation here for Celestia, we can see $5, pretty heavy concentration. If there is a pretty significant wick down, or just say Bitcoin cracks down to like the low 60K range, I think it's pretty safe to say, it may even not even take that, Celestia will pull back to that level and sweep that extra level of liquidation. But for the most part, we can see here 100, each one of these is about 150 million. So we're probably looking at about 1 billion liquidation between $7 and $7.60 as a rough estimate. Okay, so just know that's a pretty heavy concentration there. You can see that kind of accumulating for the moment. So what does that mean for us? Well, it just implies that there's a lot of shorts, there's some resistance above us. We want to respect that, but we also want to understand too, if there's good momentum, then perhaps there's a good chance that it could get swept, and this ABC pattern doesn't mean a thing. That's exactly why Elliott wave is never foolproof. I guess nothing really truly is, but I just like to emphasize the importance of kind of looking at everything if you can, right? But also don't be one of those persons that looking at 50 different time frames too. I swear, some people just sit there and try to convince themselves it's going to be a good trade by just looking at every single time frame. Really, you should have 3 or 4 time frames, maybe tops, to just kind of understand where you're at. Each one of them should serve a purpose. The daily is a macro. 4-hour, in my opinion, is a good transitionary time frame, and the hourly kind of gives us that smaller time frame indication of where things are moving. And hourly turns into 4-hour, 4-hour turns into the daily, and then of course you once a week want to look at the weekly too. Anyways, having said all that, let's quickly understand here we're above all moving averages. This is phenomenal, fantastic, always good. Okay, so by no means am I bearish on this coin. I'm just letting you know that a small time retracement would make sense considering the overall circumstance. Let's not put all our tunnel vision on here. We can kind of see as well, if we kind of zoom out, there is a little bit more fair value upwards of 715, or local high effectively back in July is 765. So we do see the price continue to run a little further. I think the 765 range to $8 is a good estimate there. The reason why I say that is just because you can kind of see some bottoming out there and some topping out here. This is probably going to be a resistance range. Okay, again, that's if the price continues to run. There's not a lot of guarantees that's going to happen, but if we look here, we can see we're not topped out on the RSI. Money flow index is extremely high. You want that for continuation patterns. We can also see stochastics pulling back, as well as our trend strength index looking very strong. MACD, same thing. There's not a lot of reasons why the coin should drop. Okay, so just to kind of throw it out there, if it's going to pull back, I think it's kind of, I wouldn't say lucky, but we'd be fortunate to see the price pull back much further. Again, it doesn't imply it's going to shoot to the moon either. It just tells us that this is a good situation overall where it's at. We can also see our local high here. I'm going to just draw this out in red to make it a little bit more clear and concise so we can understand. Daily candlestick closure, we saw 1, 2, 3, 4 candle wicks, 5, 6, 7. And then this is the 8th attempt essentially broke through. Okay, so that's a lot of attempts to break through a key level resistance. So again, that is just kind of an area to pay attention to. And that's oddly enough right where the price pivoted here roughly about 4 hours ago, 4 to 8 hours ago. Okay, so again, cool stuff. 4-hour time frame, let's quickly understand We are not quite maxed out yet on the RSI, but we're getting there. Stochastic swinging up. There's a chance we could break through this resistance level. So if we do end up closing, just say above 665 today, then I would say that the continuation higher would make more sense. And we may even be still in our fifth wave for this pattern here. So generally favorable, okay? When we look at everything else, we're above all moving averages. There's, again, no real reason to short this coin, all right? So just because I drew some lines on the chart doesn't mean it's going to pull back. This is strictly just a hypothetical if the price were to top out right now and pull back one more leg down. Again, if it were to leg down, 580, somewhere in the 580 to 620 range would make kind of sense there to pivot. And again, best case scenario, 550. We see 550 again for this coin. That would be an absolute bargain and a great opportunity to consider taking along. I don't propose that's going to be the situation now for us. I really don't think we're going to see that. Hourly time frame, let's quickly understand here the Ichimoku cloud and kind of recognize that lagging spans soon intersect with the price action. That's usually construed as a take profits on your long position if you haven't already. So if you're in a long right now, don't get super greedy. I would recommend securing some profits. Again, that's just me personally. When we see these kind of patterns, the likelihood of breaking up to the upside is greater. Okay, you got to recognize that. But it's also fallible too, because Bitcoin has been running for a little while. While it's not monumental, it's maintaining its range and continuing higher. If Bitcoin sneezes, we're going to see a bit of a pullback here. Okay, because take a look at this here. Take a look at how Bitcoin retraced this little guy right here. You can see the same thing as well with Celestia, just a bit more monumental, okay? It's a significant correction. From top to bottom, that's 12%. Bitcoin was maybe 1 or 2%. So that's a big deal. That's like a 5x correction. So just recognize this coin is extremely volatile. You want to pay close attention to it. But at this point here, most everything is still pointing up. I don't necessarily foresee the price pulling back super hard if it does. And if it does, then it'll probably be short-lived and be ready for another leg up after a period of consolidation. But this coin doesn't really do a lot of consolidation. It just kind of jumps up and jumps down. I don't love that. That is not the kind of coin I prefer to trade just because it seems less reliable and a little more on the extra volatile side, which me personally, being kind of a conservative trader, it's not necessarily my jam. Doesn't mean it's a bad thing though, okay? It just is what it is. Everyone has their own trading styles. If you prefer to be, do a little bit better, a bit more consistent, jump on over to Trading Academy community or Signals group. I offer alerts now too, which is fun. And just really cool situation there. So if you have questions, feel free to reach out. I'll post our playout chart here in our Twitter, Telegram, and Discord shortly. And we'll take it from there. I hope you have a great rest of your day. Thanks for your time. Bye-bye.